how would you compare our product to our competitors?
I don't know that there's any competitor out there that has a product as good as Ramjack. I can tell you from being on a job site, the Ramjack Helical installs faster than anything I've seen out there. And the push piles are just second to none. I mean, any engineer that's seen that push pile with a 2-pier lift system is just I've had a lot of guys tell me, hey, I've put this in. I work for this company. I work for that company. He goes, you guys make a great bracket and you've made it simple. I don't want to put anything else in.
Welcome, Scott MacKay, Ramjack Tri-States. What does Tri-State stand for, by the way? What is Tri-States? Ramjack Tri-States. What does that mean?
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware.
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware. Tri-States, okay? So you're here at the Ramjack International Worldwide Headquarters Podcast Studio. You like that?
That's nice.
Yeah, it's the Ramjack International Worldwide Headquarters Podcast Studio. We put this in place. It's pretty wild.
Such a big place, too. I really like the plastic brick on the wall.
It's not plastic. That's real brick, dude. Feel it.
No, that's
if you feel it, it actually
is it.
Yeah,
it looks. I don't know.
It looks like real brick on TV.
It's nice.
Yeah. So what are you doing here?
I am here because I have an installer coming out on Wednesday. He's interested in joining the Ramjack family, and he wants to tour the plant. Wants to see what we're all about. He wants to talk with Scott and the guys. He wants to look at the products. He's been out on. We did 2 installations for him. We did a push pier system, and we did a helical pile system, and he was blown away by the job.
So you've been at Ramjack for 25 plus years, right?
Yep.
Why? Number one, I guess I got a couple questions. So why have you stuck around that long? And number two, why Ramjack?
Let's see. Why have I stuck around that long? Because I believe in the product. I believe in the people. And they'll do just about anything for any of their franchises and dealers. They help everybody out.
How did you get started?
So 25 plus years ago, I was a contractor. And my wife's family, originally from North Carolina, had a friend, longtime friend, Ricky Sykes, down in North Carolina. And one day my wife says to me, hey, you got to go see Ricky. And I got tired of her asking me to go see Ricky. So I finally said, all right, book me a flight. I'll go see Ricky. So I flew down to see Ricky Sykes, and we went out to an apartment building, and his guys had put a bunch of push piles on the apartment building. And about the time we showed up, they were getting ready to lift that building. And as soon as that guy hit that lever and I saw that 3-story building go up in the air, I'm like, I'm in. It was just one of those things. It's kind of exciting to see. And this is one of those jobs, even after 25 years, I can honestly tell you that every time we do a push pier or we're putting in the helicals, I mean, it's exciting. It's always different. Something always different. I do not do your common job. I do all the weird jobs. If it's a weird job, then you want Ramjack of the Tri-States at 800-852-1588.
I was waiting. You always go, I like that. So what is the difference between so you've done a lot of residential work, but primarily you're commercial, right?
Yes.
So in your commercial dealings, obviously Ramjack is not always the product that's spec'd. How would you compare our product to our competitors?
I don't know that there's any competitor out there that has a product as good as Ramjack. I mean, let me start with push pier system. I mean, once somebody sees our system versus what is out there, I mean, there's no, there's not even a second thought about
what's the difference,
who you have to be with. Well, let me tell you, the ramjack system, when you're using a ramjack, say you're doing a remedial job and you're using that side load bracket, if you're using a helical pier on it and you find out that you're hitting rock and that pier's spinning out and you cannot build torque, which you need to build torque so you can figure out capacities and all that, you can use the same bracket and the same guide sleeve and switch it to a push pier. Just take the helical out, put the push pier in, use the same bracket, the same guide sleeve. So that bracket's kind of universal. And that bracket is very simple. I've had a lot of guys tell me, hey, I've put this in. I work for this company. I work for that company. He goes, you guys make a great bracket and you've made it simple. He goes, I don't want to put anything else in.
So I gotta.
Helicals go in easier. They're very. We have rock tips on them, which get us through a lot of stone, rubble, old foundations that are buried in the ground. Go through rat slabs. It is very rare we have a helical spin out.
So up in the Northeast, so obviously in Oklahoma and Texas, it's pretty much. We have the common 4-inch slab and this and that. What's the difference in what we do here in Oklahoma and Texas versus what you have to deal with up there in tri-states?
Well, you have a 4-inch slab and you probably have an excavation depth of 12 inches.
18 most of the time, yeah.
18. I said our excavations commonly are 9-10 feet because most of our buildings and houses and stuff like that have full basements under them.
And every now and then, so I know that you've done some crazy jobs to where you're one of the only guys up there that'll tackle these to where you have because I went to, where did we go that one time? Like Hershey? Was it Hershey? Did we go to Hershey, Pennsylvania?
I don't recall.
There was all that, you called them something. It's like all these houses that have common walls. And it had a stone foundation or something?
Well, you get a lot of, like Philadelphia, you have a lot of row homes. There could be 2 end units and 16 houses in between all attached. There'll be 16 of them. A lot of those older homes have what they call stone rubble foundations.
Yeah, it's just rock.
Yes, which has very little mortar between them. And that mortar, if it is there, is typically like powdery. So what we've done over time is we'll come in and put a helical pile every 4 feet all the way down the wall. And then we have custom bent steel angle that will slide underneath the stone and will brace that stone foundation wall from pile center to pile center, the whole length of the wall, come back and grout the steel. And we're able to support those houses. We did a 5-story building that way. It's just, if they could give us a design or if our team can do a design, I mean, we'll do it. I mean, there's nothing we've turned down.
It's a different world. Like whenever I go up there, I always learn a lot, see a lot. It's a completely different world up there. What was the craziest job? I can't really say the craziest. What was the proudest job? What's the biggest, most proud job you've ever done that you were like, yeah, this is big time?
Well, I think that really one of the big first jobs I ever did was design for a concrete underpin. The architects up in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, designed an addition which was had like a 3 to 4 foot deep foundation on it. Yeah. It was a lunchroom for a vocational school.
I think that's the one that we have a case study.
And it was all glass. And they were going to do a concrete underpin, but the underpin needed to go down 13 feet because they're putting an addition on next to it with a full basement. So guy calls, I had sent some flyers out because I was pretty new, and I caught this one guy's attention. He says, hey, can you come out and do a demo? So I said, sure, I'll come do a demo. And I went up there, and the engineer and the architect and the builder and the school people and everybody, the whole show's there. And I started running this push pier down and trying to explain it as I'm running the pier down. And these guys saw this thing and they were just like blown away by it. And finally the guy turns to me and he just goes, "Would you just shut up?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" He goes, "We're sold. We got it. We figured it out." So what we did was when we went back, we put in push piers on the entire building, didn't break any of the windows, and every 5 feet down, starting 2 feet underneath the bracket, we installed a tie back, hung wire on it. They came in and shockcreted all the wire and everything to keep the soil under the building. Then they put a one-sided form up, and they put their addition on with their full basement.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That was our first big job, but I mean, that was probably like our second year in.
Yeah,
that we did that.
So you're a commercial guy.
Pretty much.
You're all about commercial. Why? Why do everybody that talks about Scott MacKay, they always say he's the commercial guy. All he does is commercial. That's what they say.
Well,
so why are you the commercial guy? What kind of took you down commercial, other than the fact that you just don't like people?
So when I first got in, we were trying to get our name established and everything up in the Northeast, and all my buddies thought I was crazy. They're like, "You're going to do what?" I said, "Yeah, man, we're going to do foundation repair. We're going to do we're going to do this," and they're like, "Really?" So first year after starting Ramjack, I shut my construction business down. I said, "This is what I'm going to do." And we were doing some residential stuff then, but Ron Davidson, that worked here a long time ago, says, "Hey, get some appointments set up with some engineers and stuff, and we'll go do some lunch and learns and, show them what's out there and what we can do and all this." And of course, I sat on my keister for a little while, and Ron's coming out the next week, and I made some phone calls and I set up some lunch and learns, and we ran out and we did them. And one place we went to, we went in, we did the lunch and learn, and we're all done. And, there were 3 guys in there. I think they ordered about $200 worth of food. I think they got take home too for dinner. Mm-hmm. But guy comes running out to my truck and he goes, "Man," he goes, I want to thank you guys for coming out and doing this." He goes, "We have another company that we'd work with, but the guy's just so ungrateful. Like whenever we send him something." And, that kind of hit home. And after Ron got me started with the lunch and learns, I kept them up. I just kept doing them. And that company, one of those first companies, I mean, they still probably send me stuff every week. I mean, 99% of our work comes from the engineers. So really, I don't really need a sales team because people are sending us documents right to the house to the office.
So you've done lunch and learn after lunch and learn after lunch and learn. Is that why that you started doing your golf tournament?
Yes. Yep. And then I figured, I got to say, hey, thank you to these guys. Started out with the golf tournament. This year will be our 14th year of doing a golf tournament. The first year, we had about 35 people, and it's grown to about, I think the highest we had was somewhere between 125 and 150. And those guys will come out in the morning at 8:30. Sometimes they even beat us to the place. And we've had to throw them out at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
It's really strange. Like the first year that I went, guys rolling up with those tubes of plans. You had that table that was set off at the back, and people would now they don't do that. Like they just send them to you electronically. But at that time, those guys roll in with them tubes, and they'd have plans, and you'd roll them out, start looking at them and that type of thing. One of the things that, so we have a lot of guys out there with the Ramjack brand. They do their thing, right? What would you say is the most important aspect of doing commercial work?
Well, I mean, one of the things is I stay in touch with the engineers even when we're not working with the engineers. like we've become so friendly that sometimes we'll just, I just call them up, or, I mean, they're always contacting us. It's just, we know everybody. It's like I call it the circle. It's the circle of trust. It's, we got, this big wagon wheel of all these engineers we work for. And in turn, I try to send stuff back to them. And it's just, they trust us. I mean, most of them will tell you they don't need to be on site if Ramjack's there.
Yeah.
They know we're not cutting corners. I'm not letting anybody cut corners. It's not going to happen.
I know that, I know when I've been there, it's very interesting. Everybody thinks that you're kind of a hard ass, which you are. Don't get me wrong. But, it's like you have a huge network of people. I don't know how to say this other than this. Like, whenever I've seen you with the guys at like all your engineers and all those organizations, it's not like y'all are necessarily doing work. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like friends. It's like your friends, your family.
Right.
But it's also one of those deals to where you know what they do, they know what you do, and it's just kind of a reciprocating door of, opportunity for each other. And work, like installing piles and helicals, is kind of it's not really the focus. It's just it's the byproduct of a relationship that you have with those. And it's really weird to like be there when we go to that bagel shop. What's the bagel shop that we go to? Where they have like that dude has like that whole big old thing where he boils them bagels and everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What's the
original bagel? Yeah,
the original bagel. And like, I get the which one? I get the one that's orange.
You get one of everything.
I don't get one of. It's orange. It's a potato bagel. Is it the potato bagel?
Egg
bagel. It's the orange one, the egg bagel with bacon, egg, and cheese.
If it's orange, I wouldn't be eating it. Egg bagel's usually a little bit yellow.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's not. Well, I mean, it's yellow, orange, but.
Back to my engineers.
The weird deal is this. No, hang on a second here. The weird deal is like
to ask.
I know, but it doesn't matter where we go in freaking Newtown Square. Everybody's like, "Yo, MacKay, what's up, Scott?" Hey, like everybody knows you. It's kind of weird, but it's cool.
It is. Or you just hear somebody yelling Ramjack, or somebody walking through the grocery store with a Ramjack shirt on. My wife comes home. She goes, "Seen this guy in the grocery store wearing a Ramjack t-shirt?" And I don't even know who it is. I said, "Well, I'll get to job sites and just hand out t-shirts because I want to see my name all over the place. The site contractors, the concrete guys, one day it must have been they must have all got together and decided to wear Ramjack t-shirts, but and they all, dude, whatever I can do for them, one hand washes the other.
Yeah.
That guy has a tractor trailer, pull in with a load of rebar on it, no way to unload it. I'll take 30 minutes and swing that rebar off the truck for him. And you know what? The next job he comes upon, he'll go, "Yeah, we need to call Ramjack and get a price on them helicals." I mean, I've always just gone by the belief that, one hand washes the other. It's just, whatever I can do for them will come back. And, the engineers know that I've learned to kind of talk their lingo. They can call and ask me, "Hey, what do you think about it?" And they're not afraid to ask. Some guys will, I'm not an engineer, but I can hang with them.
What is it? You're not a PE, you're a what?
Yeah.
You're an SE, self-educated?
Yes.
Yeah. You put that out next to your name?
I put that next to my name on a lunch and learn. The guy goes, "You're an SE?" He goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, self-educated." Well, SE also stands for structural engineer.
I know.
So I took it off.
So about when was it that we started talking about this idea, which was new for Ramjack? We had this idea. I called you up and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about us selling steel and selling it to commercial partners that you're doing business with that for some reason, like you and I were talking in a conversation and you were like, "Man, I have customers, but they're not calling me anymore." And I'm like, "Why?" And you're like, "Well, because they're They have all the equipment. They have all the...
They're SIs, self-installers.
They're self-installers. So how long... What was it, like 2.5 years ago?
I think it was probably long. No.
Was it longer than that?
Yeah, I think you were fairly new. By the time I got you broke in, you were fairly new to Ramjack. But no, in the I would say it probably before someone else's ear. It had to be 4 or 5 years ago that we started the conversation. Yeah. We kept the conversation going on. We would kind of role play and go, well, this, and then maybe that. And, we talked about it. And then we would think of the good things and the bad things. And then, finally at some point we're like,
we just got to try it.
Yeah, we got to try it. I mean, why, we all know why we have to try it.
Yeah. Well, and here's my point is like, so we started it called Direct Plus. We had to give it a name. The whole idea behind it was to sell more steel. There's a lot of jobs out there. It doesn't matter what the brand is. It doesn't matter who you are. We're just not going to get every job. If we did, this company would be massively bigger than what it is right now. So the whole idea and the premise behind it was we have to install it. And when I went to Steve with it, Steve Greger, our owner, when I went to Steve with it, he was like, man, I just want you to protect the brand. I just want you to make sure that people are installing it correctly, because one bad install can ruin our name, so to speak. We thought that in the beginning. But as it has evolved over the past few years, how would you say, because I see a difference in the way you do business now versus how you did business 2 years ago. What all have you had to do? Because now you have customers that are purchasing steel from you. You train them. You do all that stuff. You have your own crews that you're installing. You advise other crews, that type of thing. So kind of walk me through all the things that you're doing now with this new program that we have in your area, Ramjack Tri-States, where you're selling steel to people. How has that changed and how has that evolved over the past 1.5, 2 years?
Well, basically I work 24/7.
You do.
So with the new installers, I'm looking at blueprints for them. I'm helping them do takeoffs. I mean, some of them are already installers. They're not happy with the companies that they get. They don't get any type of support from those companies, where I'll go out on the site. I will train them. I'll show them faster ways to install it, better ways to install it. And, the thing too is, and if they need something, I'll get it to them. We'll drive it up there. We'll deliver it. And we're giving them good pricing. I mean, the whole thing is that everybody, now, if I can bring all their engineers in as well, it'll be a positive too. But we've brought several guys on. We've trained them. Some of them order a pretty good amount of steel. Right. As you could tell, we had a nice little order a couple of weeks ago. And then I trained some guys last week and, they just went through 120 piles.
Yeah.
So it's definitely adding to
what we're trying to build.
But it takes time.
Yeah.
These guys will tell you, once you start with these guys, will be, well, I used to install this product and that product and this product. And not one of them has one bad thing to say about Ramjack. They always say, man, I really like this. I mean, I can tell you from being on a job site, the Ramjack Helical installs faster than anything I've seen out there. And the push piles are just second to none. I mean, any engineer that's seen that push pile with a 2-pier lift system is just It's
almost like if you can get our product in people's hands and they use it,
yes,
they don't want anything else. And we're priced competitively. We're basically holding their hand, if you will, to get started. But once that they figure it out, it's pretty simple, you know. And then they always call you. we've seen, I mean, I've just noticed a lot. So how many guys are you actually working with now, you think?
Right now, probably about 7 or 8.
How many more do you, how many more
Goal
do you
for
think?
this year is to have 12 on board.
So you're trying to have 12 on board. The funny thing is when we started this, you started trying to sell steel to people, and then they would start trying to do what you do, and they couldn't do it, and then you ended up installing it anyway. Remember that job that's right there by that's the one that's right by Ruth Chris and everything that was on the backside, all that new stuff that they built right there in Newtown Square?
Yeah.
Whenever they ended up contracting you to be a consultant and teach them how to do it?
I think what you need to realize is, like you said, you're not going to get every job. Some builders have relationships with certain contractors, and whenever this guy is building, he gets the site work, he gets the concrete work, and they don't look outside.
Yeah.
They want that guy to do everything. So I know I'm not going to get the job. Why not sell you the material, teach you how to install it? Ramjack sells the steel. We make a little money as RJ3 at Newtown Square, PA.
Shameless plug.
And everybody's happy. I mean, I'm not getting any younger either.
I know.
I'll be 63 this year.
I've been yelling at you to get off the excavator a lot. And
I know, but I still.
And then like the other day I call and I hear, meep, 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 and you're on the excavator. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just out here helping the guys drive some piles.
Well, we were doing a Hudson County prison in North Jersey, and we were putting some 6 5/8 into 100 feet, and they weren't even halfway to capacity.
Well, so for everybody listening, if you've listened to this far on the podcast, 6 5/8, that's 6 5/8 inch diameter. So that's a big pipe. And what's the capacity? 26,000, 26.5 or something like that, or 28,000. What's the capacity on that? You have to go up to 20-something thousand pounds.
We're putting them into 30,800 foot-pounds of torque. And at 100 feet, we're at 14,000.
So that's not good.
No. So we're going to go, probably at least, this job's going slow. We're going to add another 20 feet to each one of them, and these are all union jobs.
What's the biggest piles you've ever put in?
8 5/8.
What's the torque on that?
They didn't have a lot of torque on them. It was just that the soil was really weak.
For lateral or what?
For lateral. The drive head we're running right now on the excavator's a two-speed 40K head. We'll do 40,000 foot-pounds of torque. But the 8 5/8 were side load brackets to support a conveyor belt.
So if you were going to tell someone why they should be involved with Ramjack, what would it be?
Why you should be involved with Ramjack, all I can tell you is that when I switched from being a contractor to a foundation repair contractor, my life had changed. Everything about it for the better. I mean, it's just something I love doing. I mean, I care as much for Ramjack corporate as I care for my own business. I don't want to see anybody do anything to harm the brand. And it's something I try to convert anybody that's already in the business. If you're not using Ramjack, you need to call me at 800-852-1588 and we can discuss your future. You have a future here at Ramjack.
I like it. It was, it's been interesting. I've been here for this, I guess last month, like April or something. I've been here 9 years. I don't know how you and I started talking or why we started talking, but it was about 6 months in, maybe it's 9 months in. They wanted me to look at commercial jobs and stuff. And they were like, well, Scott MacKay is like the person to talk to, you've helped me a lot in what I do. I consider you a friend, and I don't know. I'm anxious to see where this goes because it's taken us, it's literally like a lot of people think that you can build something like this just overnight, and you can't. Like we started talking about this 4 or 5 years ago. We put it in play 2 years ago, really, if you think about it, 2.5 years ago. But it has taken it's taken a solid I would say a solid 1.5 to 2 years, just making contacts, just talking with people, just like getting people to understand we're not like this is unlike any of our competitors do.
Right.
You know, like not only do you sell it, but you're showing people how to install it. So
yeah. Well, you got personal service.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them just want to sell you the steel and here you go. Well, I got to, you know, somebody has a problem. I have people, and this is strange, that I've had people call me installing other products that have problems to ask me questions.
Yeah.
You know, or the geotech will, hey, you know, I hate to ask you this, but this guy's putting this in, and like, what kind of torque should he be looking for? Like, seriously, the guy's putting somebody's product in the ground and he doesn't even know what the torque is. I mean, we have all, you know, if we had somebody like that, all they got to do is go on the website or, you know,
go look it up.
Yeah, we have that data there. The guys, it's all available to them. You know, Ramjack Corporate has spent time and you know, put all this paperwork out there where you have the information. You know, I got this drive head. This is the capacity I need. Well, this is the torque you need. You know, we have engineers. We have, you know, everybody is working to promote this company. And, you know, other people are they just want to sell steel and, you know, they don't care if it's right or wrong.
Right.
We look at it like, hey, this is what you want. You know, let's look at the drawings. Let's look at the soil. Let's make sure, you know, this pile's going to work. And I've talked to some people that install other stuff, and they're like, hey, if that engineer asked me for it and I put it in the ground, if it's his problem. I said, not necessarily, dude.
True.
I said, we're not going to sell you something that we know is not going to work. We're going to sell you what's going to work. So if you're going to question that, you know, we're going to do what's right. You know, the brand, you know.
I will say this, as crazy as it sounds, I don't know of many guys that wear the Ramjack logo that believe in it as much as you do, and it's been really cool to see. It's been really fun to watch, and I don't know, man. I think it's cool. I'm interested to see what happens with the Rec Plus. I'm interested to see what happens with you spreading out, doing more. So I'm down with it.